indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you everybody for coming out. We got some things, a lot of stuff to go over. So I'm going to get started and right in. First up is town council elections. So I'll just read what we have here and then we can kind of delve into some more. If the ATC receives more applications and seats are available, then election will be convened. However, there's a distinct possibility the county will not grant the acting town council permission to convene in-person elections, in which case it would seem we'd have to commit to holding the election as soon as we can with public gatherings. So that's kind of where it stands. I don't know if we received any.
I don't think so. Pam's going to check.
Yeah, so Pam should be here shortly and then we can ask if any applications have come in. So it may be a non-issue, but wanted to put that out there that we're kind of diversity in the county and whether we can have increasing elections. Any questions or thoughts about that? All right. We've received word that there's going to be a doubling of train travel through Acton. Metro is going to initiate scoping and public outreach for the environmental review of the proposed project and doubles the train trips through Acton. They're scheduled to begin on October 1st. They have not yet told us how they're going to meet their community outreach obligations here in Acton, though they are aware of the limited internet situation here. 2 weeks ago, Metro announced that they do not intend to involve the Federal Railway Administration, FRA, in the environmental review process. This is troubling because without the FRA, we do not get to have quiet zones. The quiet zones, if you're not familiar, we've talked about this in other town council meetings, but it allows us to not blow the horn at every intersection.
They're violating it now, aren't they?
Well, no, because they can do it now. If we get the FRA involved, they would have to do double protected crossing. So you know how you have the one arm come down? This would be double arms on both sides. If they have that, then they could not have to.
What he's talking about, though, is potentially they're not complying with the existing law right now.
Well, I mean,
How early can it go?
I'm on the other side of the wash.
Okay,
At 3 o'clock in the morning, trains are waking me up because they're blowing the whistle to at least okay.
Yep, it's supposed to be, it's a federal law that says anytime you're going to a public grade crossing, and I did some research, a lot of research last week, and there are 9 crossings in Acton, within Acton's boundary, I think, and at least 4 of them are public.
So I think because it falls under their maintaining the.
Yeah, the freight trains have to follow the same rules. And it's all under Metrolink's jurisdiction, not Metro's. Although Metro is the one who's doing all the engineering on doubling the number of trains, so it doesn't make any sense, actually. But what we're trying to do is get quiet zones at every single crossing where they initiate points. That's why I'm trying to figure out where they.
If we can identify where they're blowing the horn, then we can ask for the quiet zone.
The problem is the entity that has final jurisdiction over the quiet zones is the Federal Railway Administration. So 2 weeks ago, we were told by Metro that they will not be consulting FRA. That's a very bad thing because they need to consult with the FRA. So we're trying to find every possible way we can push them to consult with the FRA. They said they're going after federal fundings, so they're going to have to consult with the FRA and do a federal environmental analysis. Get there at the very beginning part, they're refusing to do it. So it's a bad thing, but our goal is to have no horn sound anywhere. Just so freight or otherwise.
Which, if we can get the FRA involved, we can request a quiet zone. And then, like I said, what it'll do is they'll do double.
Yeah, because I know for a long time you never heard of it. All of a sudden, I'd say within the last three months or so,
It seems to.
it's really increasing.
Well, it's going to go and even travel now. There'll be 2 trains per.
Or better if they can find them. And that was the comment we received in the June meeting. If there are any other concerns around it. So coming around in October, they're going to.
Oh, maybe I just
No, it's okay.
Yeah, October is a scoping
Yeah.
effort,
That's good.
and we all have to be involved. We've told them that a lot of people here don't have good internet, so they haven't quite come up with a plan on how to deal with that. But we all need to, everybody needs to step in on this, especially in this quiet zone. There are other issues. The last meeting was recommending
Yeah, so be on the lookout. Obviously, we'll communicate with the local news outlets on when anything is done, that with any kind of outreach that we can all put a full court press on them to do what they should be doing, which is going to FRA. Climate vulnerability assessment survey. I feel like it's just nothing but bad news. Yeah, I know. An update to the safety element of the general plan is important. The residents are aware of the climate vulnerability assessment and other activities that are ongoing, which are likely to affect our community. Hopefully everyone has seen the surveys they want residents to complete, and hopefully you've shared your opinions with the Regional Planning and Sustainability Office. If not, we've been granted an extension to respond to surveys until Friday, September 18th, so this Friday. I guess our question to everybody is, do you want the Acton Town Council to send a letter on behalf of the community in regards to this? Do you want to explain a little further what is at stake, or what we've been hitched to so far?
Well, the county has decided that they need to update the general plan, the safety element of the general plan, to address all of the hazards that we now have because of climate change. And so the survey that they put out, there were 3 surveys. I focused on the one that's the wildland fires because that's the one that mostly affects us, although we have other ones that affect us as well. But there were 20 questions. I could not, and I still can't get past question 9, which asks us prioritize the options that we're considering for enhanced fire resiliency or something. And it was have people move out of fire zones by buying them out. Have people retrofit their homes if they were built after 2008 with more substantial. I'm sorry, they were built after before 2008 with more substantial hardware. Sorry. Expand microgrids, which I think everybody's in favor of here, because we get rid of PSPS. But it doesn't address fire hazards, so it's not even an issue. And what was the 4th one?
It was also equally bad. None of them were good. They were all like basically like move, pay to move, or I mean, was it like more educating? I don't know. Like there was something about.
Yeah, it was crazy, and I found.
And there was no other option. That was the problem. There was no like, or give us input, or put more fire resources there, whatever. It was move, get paid to move, kicked out, forcibly removed, or pay a bunch of money right to your house.
And I did a lot of research, and I think I figured out where they came up with in 2008. There was a study that came out a year ago, called the Flashy Study, and it found that of the homes in Paradise, all the homes that were built before 2008 apparently, that were in the path of the fire were destroyed. Half the homes that were built after 2008 that were in the path of fire were destroyed. So they determined that if your house is built after 2008, it's going to be more resilient. However, what happened in 2008 is they adopted new building standards that prohibited you from building your house with, you had to build your house with fire-resistant materials, which makes sense. But LA County has been requiring that for us. I know in 2001 when we built our house, we couldn't have a shake roof. All those requirements were already here. So we've asked the county, why 2008, what's so sacrosanct about that? Because a lot of the things that the county required, and I have shared this research I did last week. And so I'm working with the fire department to find out when their codes happen. So that, and what's disturbing is what we did learn that when the regional planning put the survey together, they never spoke to the fire department. Because if they had, the fire department would have said, well, 2008 doesn't mean anything to us, because we've been requiring for brush clearance, 2 elements that changed in 2008 is required brush clearance, which we've had forever, right? The fuel mod even in the 90s, and fire-resistant materials. So,
I'm sorry, still trying to fact the fire department consulted.
yes, exactly. So I don't know if it's a good idea to get these surveys, but I do know it's a good idea to tell the county what you think about these surveys. So we're asking everybody to at least look at the surveys. And if you're happy about them, do them. If you're not happy about them, contact regional planning. I think there's a contact person there, tweet Wall, and let her know what your concerns are with the survey. Because this is the first step in implementing all the climate change, resiliency changes that we're going to deal We're around here, we have flooding, we have fire, we have everything.
All the biblical things.
Yes, so, and then I think we can post links to those surveys if we haven't already on our
Yeah,
website.
I would say we can put that up and we'll put the contact info for the person
Yeah.
that you just referenced. That way you can let them know what you think about the survey. As Jackie said, I think the most disturbing thing is just none of the options were good and nobody that actually deals with the fires is actually consulted with it, so it seems kind of
But
pointless.
it's gonna be the basis.
But they're gonna, yeah, exactly. So it seems crazy is then we're gonna all have to deal with the outcome of a terrible survey.
So should the town council?
Yeah, so, I mean, what are thoughts? Do you want the town council to speak for the community in writing a letter on this?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
That works, I like it.
Ta-da!
Well played. All right, well, thank you, guys. We'll do that, and we'll post the letter after as well.
Thank you.
County climate action efforts, more climate stuff. The county is going all in on implementing Action 85. It sounds like something like Star Wars. It's bad. Under the sustainability plan to decarbonize the county. As part of this implementation, the county prepared a draft climate action plan, which calls for replacing of space heaters, water heaters, and cooking appliances in existing residential buildings as part of Strategy 7. In plain English, anything that involves burning anything is going to be out and it'll be electric. So if you like your propane powered gas water heater, your SoCal gas powered water heater, that's going to be no. You're going to have an electric water heater, if you like it or not. Excellent point.
It's all go electric?
Yeah, so this is something we brought up as well, which was, hey, that's like the most least reliable thing that we have. You got to turn, it gets turned off all the time. And at least get hot water. No, we get hot water. And the same goes with any of the heating stuff. So I think they discussed fireplaces. I would assume pellet stoves are in that. All the things, yeah, probably. If it involves burning anything, it's bad. So I think a lot of the disconnect is the fact, again, where we face stuff is you have folks in the city who don't understand, like, hey, we like heat our houses by that. So,
Hi, Jeremiah. Thanks for doing this. I think that they would probably do it as a point of sale when you sell your house. So they put the burden on the seller. So you might want to talk with them about that.
Yeah, well, I don't think we should let them do it
at all. But she said that's how they would, if they were going to implement it, that's most likely scenarios. They would just,
Thousands of dollars.
Now, we'll put that in. We have asked that, we said, you cannot take away our fossil fuel heating and systems until you come up with a reliable,
Alternative.
cost-effective
Yeah.
alternative.
Okay.
Not just these-
Why is salt generators?
It's
Yeah.
just the burden has
well,
to
no, that
fall
burns fuel, so
somewhere.
they have a problem, yeah.
Well, but see, that's it. I don't know that I agree with you on that. The situation we face here in the winter is not what people face in downtown LA. We get snow. I know 3 Points lost power for 7 days because of snow. And so if you don't have power and you don't have electricity, you're gonna freeze to death.
And they don't plow the road. It's not like if you get a freak snowstorm like that where you're going to lose power for a week. It's not like they're plowing Sierra Highway.
Right. Or even when there's snowstorm, they shut power off for 4 days, 5 days.
No.
Yeah, so now, go ahead.
Yeah, so we submitted a comment letter in response to draft plan, kind of discussing what we've talked about, which is, hey, here's the problems we submitted. And clarified no strategy will be adopted until the county provides a reliable, low-cost alternative to natural gas and propane. And pointed out electricity is neither reliable nor cost-effective. And the revised plan is not out yet, so it's not clear what they're going to do. At the ARTC meeting in July, the county chief sustainability officer indicated the county will work on the issue with rural residents in areas that have cold winters that are affected by PSPS. The conference call discussed this and other sustainable issues is scheduled for this Friday. What other concerns? I don't know if any of you have looked at any of the sustainability plan, but if you have, if there's any other concerns or things that you might be concerned would come up, if you want us to bring up on that call, we would love to hear. And if you can't think of it right now, it's fine. Email it in. But the call's Friday. So any kind of things that you're concerned about, or go home tonight and if you want to have something to fall asleep real quick to crack into that sustainability plan, or keep you up at night because it's terrifying what they're going to try to take away.
It's a catch-all call to talk about the vulnerability assessment, the
surveys,
Yeah.
the climate action plan,
Yeah.
and sustainability, all of it.
So any information on any of the stuff going on in this space, if it has the word climate in it, or resiliency or safety or any of these things, we want to put that all in this bucket for the call.
What does Southern California Gas, all that infrastructure, tons of it everywhere.
I have no idea.
Are they weighing in on that?
I would assume they would be, they would be from their angle, which is like, hey, you're going to take away all our customers. I just don't know. I mean, there's percent that we have issues with because it is going to affect us disproportionately over other areas.
We do have an element, I will say that Supervisor Barter has made it very clear that she does not think that this whole decarbonization thing should be moved as fast as it is, and carefully. She's made that very clear, which is been public. So that is the line for us.
If they force everyone to go electric, it's going to push everyone in the highest rate structure, which is 4 times what it costs for the low structure. So it could potentially increase your bill by 25 to 50%.
And everybody's bills are going up by 25% over the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Right.
30 in 3 years.
So just all that to say, I know the sun's we're gonna lose it, so I'm trying to get this. But please, you can send it. If you don't know where to send it to us. We'll make sure it gets where it needs to go. But please get out there and encourage folks to make your voice heard. Because we don't have a lot of public avenues to get support for voicing our concerns. General elections, there will be in-person voting in November 3rd in Acton at the Acton School on Crown Valley Road. One of the actions that has been put on the November 3rd ballot is a proposed county charter amendment that will take 10% of the county budget towards alternatives to incarceration and community investment. It's critical to be aware of that and make your voice heard on this now.
That's a really big deal because right now, the Board of Supervisors has flexibility to allocate funding. This would lock a minimum of 10% of the entire county budget into this program. And it's probably come out of the Sheriff's Department and other emergency responders. So
Make sure you
please,
read up on it and
it's
vote.
on the ballot, please vote, look at it. I'm not saying vote one way or the other, just be aware of it, please vote.
So next one, this is another fun one. Should people be allowed to live in RVs on residential properties? Rhetorical question on all y'all. So should people be allowed to live in RVs on residential properties? The county is considering whether to adopt an ordinance that will allow people to live in RVs on residential lots. The county does not intend to monitor these uses, though they claim they will investigate such uses if they receive a complaint that raw sewage is not being properly disposed of. The health department has described the procedures that they will follow if a complaint is made, but the process still takes a month or more before anything can actually be done. And that's also apart from COVID stuff, because I know that when we reach out to the county for some things, they're backlogged or they can't go on property. There's all sorts of other things. So that's in a good scenario. They told us it'll take a month minimum.
And that's what you think illegal.
Yes.
This is not legal right now.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly.
Is this
Right now,
just here in Acton or anywhere in
Countywide.
the state?
countywide.
Unincorporated.
Unincorporated LA.
Unincorporated,
Yeah, if you're a city, you can set your own.
but not Beverly Hills or not?
No, of course not.
So are you saying that, so somebody just buys a piece of property and then they put an RV on it instead of building a house?
No, they have to have,
They have to have a
under
house.
the rule, they have to have a house there.
Oh, okay.
So
But-
they would use the person's septic, connection to
Supposed to.
septic, or go dump it every week or
Is
whatever.
there a
Someone could
limit?
put multiple RVs on their property and rent them out, or?
Yes.
According to this ordinance, only one.
One.
So here's the problem. They're never gonna follow up.
They're not enforcing anything.
So right now, it's not legal, and we got a whole bunch right
Yeah.
down here.
Our neighbors.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, all of it. I mean, it's not.
Right.
So once you make it legal, it's gonna be everywhere and
control.
less enforced than it is now.
So, let's see. So in late August, Department of Public Health received a complaint of someone improperly disposing of waste while living in an RV in the Shannon Valley area. We understand that DPH will conduct an investigation of the site in early October. So August, October for one site.
Sorry, I came because I had a lot to say. So on that one, I careful because there's a lot of responsible adulting going on here in Acton. So we might have a ranch hand that's living in an RV who's being, respectful. We take it to the dump. You have your own dump on your property or whatever. So that one's kind of a catch-22, and we should be very careful. And I think the county's also got a lot of illegal, and we talked about this at the ARTC meeting as well. There's a lot of illegal RV living on other people's lands. So just, when you go and vote on that one, be a little careful because it could affect, your grandchild or your daughter. I don't know how to put it.
Yeah, this isn't a vote, this is an ordinance that they're looking at, just.
And the Board of Education specifically asked us to let them know what we think.
So
Just be careful.
yeah, no, I think I understand. I think the concern is that I think a lot of people in the community probably don't mind if somebody has a ranch hand and things are being done properly. It's Pandora's box of you open up to be legal now. Everything has to be. How do you judge? If I look next door and I'm like, well, I don't like what's going on there, and they're like, well, they can do it. So let's see. The amount of time it takes to investigate trouble, particularly since itself is completely illegal at this point. It seems likely that if these are legalized, the sewage dumping and other abuses will increase exponentially with little enforcement. And so, what is the community's thought on allowing and legalizing RVs? So we have one opinion there.
I would say no.
Okay.
No, yeah.
I allow one. You can't, if you open the Pandora's box and say it doesn't matter how many, maybe one, because like if you have a ranch hand, you only need one trailer for a ranch hand. Or a daughter.
If you have a ranch hand, you can build second units, do all kinds of stuff.
No, you can't.
Oh, for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. With a ranch hand, you can put them in the trailer.
Well, the problem is that the county.
Is he going to ask us to
Okay,
range you?
what we told the county was, if you can show us you're going to follow up these people, know how many there are,
Right.
make sure that they dump and do all these things, then, the community would probably support it. But last time, the
Right.
county came back and said, we're not going to do any of those things. We just want it's to address homelessness, and we just want to do this. So that's the problem.
Yeah, the
They're
concern
not
is,
addressing
Not
homelessness.
only that,
That's just putting a Band-Aid on it.
yeah, well, and I think that's the concern is that the impetus for this is homelessness, not, hey, we want to make it easier for a family or a ranch hand. So they're looking for a place like, hey, you got 20 acres and you got a house on there. Hey, you can stick a homeless guy in an RV in the back, and now they
And
can
the
cross
next
one
thing is
off.
that same resident is gonna have 5 people there.
Yeah, or 10 people in an RV.
Exactly.
There's-
And then they're collecting rent from all of those people.
Yeah, there's no limit on people, so you can have 10
In
people.
the last week,
Right.
the town council's received 2 requests from 2 different property owners, that they can rent their property out to RV users.
Yeah,
So, with homes.
yeah.
And then, how many could they put?
How many could they
So,
put?
but you
So
have to also address how far away it is from the other.
property line,
Listen,
yeah. and all that.
and we have one that just went
And
up,
that
and it's
introduces
constant booming music.
illicit
Now they
activity.
put an air conditioner unit in, and that creates more noise. And it's like, it never ends the amount of noise, and it's right next to us. So it's, I think that has to be addressed too, so I just don't think it's.
And then if they're not monitoring it and we have 5 or 10 people with illicit activity, with a bunch of noise, drugs, urination, whatever's taking place, trash, and they're not gonna address it and police it,
Well, they will just in like 3 months. That's not okay? No. I personally would feel better if they said like we have a task force that's going to deal with it. The problem is we're out here and no one is going to come. We can't get to come out for
Nobody
things that are
loves
already
us.
illegal, right? It's already illegal. And it's going to take them 2 months to come out for things.
Right,
When
right.
it's legal, they're going to be like, it's probably fine.
exactly.
Probably.
And nobody lets us out here.
So anyway,
So what we could do is ask the county to take that out of the ordinance until we have a better feel for what their follow-up procedure is going to be and whether or not they implement what they say they're going to right now. when it's
they're going to
illegal.
take 10% of the county budget and put it into enforcing it.
But doesn't it worry someone that we're a fire zone?
Well, this is another thing, right? Which is how do you know what if they know there's a single family structure on a property and the fire department shows up to deal with something, you kind of that, or the sheriff's department if they show up and they're expecting one thing and then now there's like this RV and there's people in the RV and now
Or
creates-
homeless, they
Yeah, all
went
of
out to homeless, they do a cocaine outside,
Yeah.
or a gender party outside.
Just start another fire.
So, all right, send in your feedback on that. I just want to keep going because I forgot that the sun goes down earlier now. Yes.
Don Premier's trying to get on my phone so that she can hear. Can I sit
Yeah,
there?
yes.
I'm also,
Well, I don't have, I wasn't over to do that.
So PSPS, popular topic, it's back. There's been discussions on social media several times about low-cost battery systems. Keith is a contractor that deals with that. I'll give him a minute to share kind of what you do, what's available, and what maybe some of the dates and some stuff might be changing if you want to share that. And also maybe address for businesses, if there's any business owners here, what's available for them.
Great. Little bit of history. Because of what happened last year with Edison shutting power off, lawmakers got together and basically created Senate Bill 200, which basically instructed the California Public Utility Commission to initiate a rebate program that pays 100% of the cost for folks to put in backup batteries. Basically, most of the contractors are providing 2 Tesla Powerwalls, and they're worth $26,400, and the state's paying 100% of that. I've locked up 400 orders in Acton and Agua Dulce in the last 5 months. All you have to do to qualify is be in the high fire threat area, which you are, and be on a well, or have a booster pump, or have medical equipment that requires electricity. Then you qualify for the rebate. And the contractors are basically putting the rebates in for the homeowners. That's not something you have to do yourself. You make one phone call and it's done.
Zero cost.
Zero cost.
So just to clarify, the contractors are going to carry the cost, isn't it rebated by the state themselves? So it's the homeowners that come up with anything else?
Great question. The question was, is there upfront cost? Well, I don't know why the state did it this way, but it's a tail-end rebate. So either you have to come up with the cost during construction, or you partner with me, and I find the money. I find someone that fund the project for you, and you pay them $1,000 when everything's said and done for that service. Kind of like a bridge loan.
Is it similar to like a piece of zero loans where it goes after?
No, it's not a payment. And you own it from day one. And it's a warranty for 10 years. For folks that don't have solar, what we've been doing is hooking up their booster pump and maybe their refrigerator or small lights. It has a capacity of 26,400 watts. So if you don't have solar, you got to be very careful what loads you put into it, because you don't want to drain the batteries, the first day, because you might be out of power 3 days and then you're kind of screwed anyway.
Generator power those batteries?
No, generators. The sine wave on the generator is not clean enough, so it toasts it. But you could have you could have a redundant system where, as long as the battery's charged, you can pull from that, and then if the battery's drained, then you go back to your generator. You can do it that way. The grid's down, but you'll actually have your own microgrid on your property, and you can power all your loads for days and weeks at a time with the combination of solar and batteries.
yeah, I was gonna say with solar, we have a company who is doing it, and the cost, and we own the solar, it's less than what we're paying most of it.
Yeah,
You could make it, and you could pay monthly, and you end up paying less, so solar
Right.
actually can be very cost
Then we're in a
effective.
great place.
and
Yes.
basically, if you take the net cost of solar over the warranty period, which is 25 years, you're paying 6 cents a kilowatt hour compared to what everyone's paying now, probably around 26 cents. And it increases the resale value of your property, and it solves a huge problem. About a 6-year payback.
We
You
found
take,
stuff effective right now, so.
you take 6 years worth of your Edison bills, and that's about what solar costs you.
Because just time, and then if anybody has any questions, you can grab Keith after. Is there? You mentioned there was some stuff for the businesses as far as what might be available to help them in the same kind of space.
Yes, you got
So if you own a business out here, or you know somebody who does, this would be another important thing, because it's not just for homeowners. There's some stuff for businesses as well.
So The 100% program, where the state pays 100% of the cost, applies to critical infrastructure like fire stations, food pantries, cooling centers, things like that, grocery stores, gas stations. Okay, and then there's another program that pays about 75% of the cost, and that applies to more business-oriented type structures.
Okay, so if anybody knows anybody who has a business, or you have a business out here that kind of fits in that criteria, you can give me the tank template, I can give you this info, or grab Keith and but those things are available, and obviously with PSPS back, it's something that's kind of be on all of our minds. I mean, we're in September, they didn't start till October last year, and to already have kind of gone through, and I know not everybody lost power, but I think people up on part of Bootlegger did.
I'll go see last day without any notice.
Yeah. So
we got that was Edison working on the pole, and they were down on Darling and stuff, and then they ended up. They originally weren't going to cut it, and then they cut it because the way they needed to retrofit it was going to be too dangerous. So then they cut it and they came back on as soon as they were done with the work. But they were actively there and they were working on it.
The battery for the automotive normally lasts around 5 years.
If anybody has more questions, feel free to talk to Keith because we're losing daylight. So, thank you, Keith, for that. New industrial development. KIP Construction has nearly finalized their project on Gurrier. The ATC was unaware of the project until last month. We have posted the plans on the website, but we have not received any comments yet. We did tell the county the project requires a trail, but we haven't heard a response on that. Any comments on that? It is right down here on Gurrier. We don't really know. That's literally all we know is what I just read. So the plans are there if you want to look at them, but it's an industrial project.
Industrial meaning what?
That would be the rock yard down the street over here that they actually want to put a building on.
Okay, so it sounds like you know what we do.
I know exactly what it
Please
is.
look at the plans and tell us what you think if you have any concerns. We have absolutely no idea. We learned about it literally just a couple of weeks ago.
Where is the street you're talking about?
Construction on Gurrier, it's right, it's parallel to Syracuse and Smith and Nichols.
It's the one that has the Quonset hut on it.
Yeah.
So Ron, are they trying to do a permanent building and take
They're
that
trying
down?
to do some kind of a building over there.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's
Facade, so we're trying to do it so it meets the community standards and keeps everybody happy.
What is it though? What's in the
This is a commercial building for my own personal use. Storage for
our own heavy equipment that we use.
manufacturing. No manufacturing. It's for my business. I'm a contractor, so.
It's in the rock yard? It's where the rocks are.
On the rocks.
He's
Matter of fact, I sold it to him,
me.
and he gave me 1 acre lifetime for the rest of my life.
So anyway, it's we're trying to make it so it looks good for the community.
It's not a project we've ever opposed or.
No, we just didn't know. We just, like I said, we got the things came across and we're like,
Our
we
goal,
didn't know
our
anything.
job, our goal is to just let the community know and hear back from them and then share that with the decision makers. That's what we're supposed to do. So I do know that we've indicated that a trail under the plan.
No.
I'm scared, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you better back
Well,
off.
thank you. And it sounds like if there's any specific questions for project, he's the man. He's here. We can
Yeah, if you got any questions?
250 paying customers, or 250 customers per day, or that traffic will increase to the point where a traffic signal is warranted. We've asked Public Works to clarify the factors that were considered in making that determination, and we'll post them on the website once we receive them. So again, we didn't know anything about that.
I just would like to say something about the Dollar General. I'll be brief. Last time they were here, we got an email, right, that we're supposed to send our comments to that has not been responded to, and I have a list of reasons why I did not want Dollar General in here. The most troubling one was the fire. We've talked a lot about fire. This is from 2 sources. This is from Reveal. Headline, Why Dollar General Has a Fire Problem. Dollar General's discount stores are a fire disaster waiting to happen. That's the message from the current and former federal occupational safety and health administration officials, Okay, I won't read the whole article, but this is from December 2016. That's a few years ago, right? This morning in Fayetteville, North Carolina, another Dollar General fire. So I'm just saying it's really a concern for this town. So
Can you send that to?
Here, you can have those, and I can email
Email
anyone.
to
The links are right.
So thank you.
We forward up everything.
Everything that's forward sent to us.
There's deposit companies we forwarded all.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing
I
that.
haven't been to one.
So yeah, I think the concern that we have right now is that we didn't know that they concluded there was no traffic study warranted until today, and are concerned about what criteria was used. Because I don't know if they plan on being successful. I think having 250 customers a day is probably necessary. So I'd like to find out why that's not going to be their number.
It's really weird.
Can you back up on the PSPS about the locations?
Sure.
Did I?
Oh no, it wasn't.
Is that in another one?
No, that's.
It's coming up. It's coming up.
Coming up, Jack.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I was like, I didn't.
I only had time to print one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so then another one from that same meeting, car sales lot development. Department of Regional Planning has expressed concern with some of the design elements and requested revisions to the plan. Revised plans have not yet been submitted. The Department of Public Works has not completed their evaluation of the project for traffic or lighting issues. So another one will be, again, we've asked to be a part of that, see what's been given. Yeah.
Where was that?
That's right across from La Cabaña. Right there, that lot, like directly across the street. Energy resiliency, as discussed at the protest meeting in June, SCE has offered to install battery backup generation at 3 locations in Acton to maintain power throughout any TSPS event. At the time, the community decided to ask that the 3 schools in Acton receive the backup power systems. Edison rejected the alternative, because it said it would take too much power. So we asked Edison to just install modules that allow the schools to use solar power that they will soon begin generating so they can stay open during PSPS. That was rejected as well, though they didn't explain why. So now we're back to having to give SC 3 locations in Acton where power should be maintained during the PSPS. Edison has indicated they would accommodate any of the 3 following: Ace Hardware, the original Acton Market, the new Acton Market, the 49er, and Wentz's. If Wentz's or the original Acton Market are selected, 1 or 2 of the other small business could also be accommodated. We asked about other businesses along Santiago, but SCE did not clarify what they could do for them, so that's still unclear. And basically we're asking, we do not want to play a pick winner or loser, especially when it comes to economics and things. So we're not wanting to arbitrarily just pick, hey, this business is going to have power, this one isn't. So we would love ideas or suggestions on what to do.
It is important to point out that Edison will maintain power to all of the businesses up there at the corner of Sierra Highway and Crown Valley.
The 76.
Because they're undergrounding the line from the substation at Crown Valley to that location. So the pharmacy,
Don
Don Chato's, 76, even the apartment complex.
Will all have power.
The pharmacy, did you say the pharmacy?
Yes, the pharmacy up at Crown Valley. That we got that confirmation that those would all be energized. Since you get back,
At this point,
it's an indicator to her. So we don't want to, this is Sullivan's choice, so we would like to hear from the community.
which baby they'd like to, I mean.
Jeremiah?
I
think the business owners that may benefit from this, maybe they should come forward and contact us. Right now, there's nobody vying for 3 spots. There are 3 open spots.
Yeah, we've not been contacted by any business saying.
If you are a business owner and you maybe would like to keep your business open, maybe they should come forward and maybe we can turn them over to SCE and let SCE go from there.
And another advantage of having, say, for example, the community center be one of them, is that is a gathering place for cooling centers where Edison comes with their water shower things, so that might be a place that we would have power anyway.
I was under the impression they were going to do that one regardless of the 3 choices. Is that not correct?
I have to check on that. I don't know.
If we were to have a national disaster,
It's a long place.
It would make sense. All right. Yeah, so if you're aware of any business owners, you're a business owner, you want your business to be open, please reach out to town council, and we will probably pass it on, or if we don't get a consensus, I don't know, I mean, we probably, if the community center isn't one of them, I think it's about the only one we probably could all, as a community, I feel safe with suggesting, since we can't use the schools. I mean, schools seem like the logical choice, because in the event of a natural disaster, that'd be good. What was that?
What about the church?
Yeah, I mean, if that's in the community.
Yeah, I don't know if churches are allowed,
Yeah.
I'll have to ask that.
Yeah.
She,
Every time we think something's allowed, we've been told no.
ask her.
So
we will ask
who
her
knows?
about the church.
Yeah. All right, dark. Proposed barbecue restaurant. The ATC received an email from a resident seeking to open a barbecue restaurant in Acton. It was suggested that he present the community at this event. Mr. Matt Booth, are you here? Going once or twice? Okay. If we get any more details on that, we'll be happy to post it. But it would seem like it was just, nothing's been submitted. It seemed exploratory in nature. As we told, invited people to come. It's been done. Yes.
Similar to some restaurant in Santa Maria?
Yes.
Gave a name of that restaurant?
I don't remember which restaurant, but yeah, he basically wanted to have a high quality barbecue restaurant here in Acton.
Is it a barbecue?
Where?
Brewery style?
Yeah, it's like a barbecue brewery style. Yeah.
Where is the good
I don't know that did he set a location? No.
I think he said downtown Acton.
Yeah.
Said downtown in the email, yes.
Thanks. I don't know. I've heard mixed things, so I don't know. I've not heard anything good. All right. Last thing on here, and probably a good thing because it's getting dark. High-speed rail. So CHSRA is planning. Yeah, just run. It's curse words in some houses. Is planning on putting together a public outreach meeting next month to discuss the new preferred alternative route that we understand will be all below ground in Acton. And the draft EIR is now slated out to be out next summer. So that's approved again. The last conversation we had, that route, they're looking to now put all underground grass, which would be
Huge deal.
because before it was screaming by school and everything else.
Just whenever you're done, Tim, if I could have like 2
Yeah, you got it.
Hold on one second.
So we have the high-speed rail authority, engineers presented the tentative route to the Chisholm board last month. So I got on, we learned that today, I got on the website and I have about 15 copies of the proposed route. It's still very tentative at this point, but if you'd like a copy, here you go. But it will be all 100% underground in Acton, so that's a plus. It's a plus.
We can do that.
Okay. Are you doing
I contacted her yesterday, she contacted me.
Yes, and then she emailed, I don't know if you saw it.
I did, because I was.
So she emailed. Yeah, this is a big deal.
For 12 years I've been fighting for this. I mean, I know a lot of people are upset that we're not fighting and
Can we
saying
have it
don't-
quiet, please?
People are upset for not saying, don't build the rail. But if you say that, then you take yourself out of the entire conversation. So what we've always said is, don't put it in Acton. We showed them how they could route it completely outside of Acton. They kicked that to the curb. So now we're trying to make it so the impacts are negative.
Especially if you think doubling the Metrolink trips through, that's just gonna be bad. Having that above ground and how many trips per hour?
180, according to their ridership numbers, it would be 180 trips a day. I know everybody says, oh, it's not gonna be that way. No, it's once every three or 4 minutes. So, and it's in their own documents.
Wait for the water.
Quick, guys. This Wednesday.
Hold on. Hold on. That was bad me.
I'm sorry. Okay. So starting this Wednesday, starting around 8 or 9 in the morning, depending on whenever they're done with their briefing, Edison's going to be going through with their drones to check the power lines. Okay. There's going to be about 10 of them, and they're subcontracted, and they're going to have guys like in polos. So they're going to have security with them. Because they did this in Cascade, and I guess a couple of their drones got shot down. do not shoot down their drones.
You need a license to shoot
for them down?
No, they press charges on the people in Castle. That's what I'm getting at. So it is illegal to shoot down the drones. Don't do that. They're going to do Alpha Safe first, and then they're going to go, we're going to get the afternoon up here. The whole point of doing the drones versus the helicopters, everyone was complaining about the helicopters being so disruptive. We're hoping that this is less disruptive to the community, and they can get them done quicker at a cheaper cost and just knock them out real quick. And they're trying to do it all in one day, so it doesn't spread it out, doing it here and there. But that's what they have planned so far is for this Wednesday. So this Wednesday, if you happen to see a drone zipping by your property, it's going to be us. Okay?
So if you don't have high tension wires, then they're not.
An appreciation, because we stepped in hard on this helicopter.
Yes.
And I'm glad that they're doing this. See, could you tell us who would we contact when there is a drone around our house? Because I'm fairly certain that will happen, even if
Yeah.
So I think Edison would want to know their contractors are putting drones over people's homes where they do not belong.
Yeah, I have contacts for everybody. The guy in charge is Eric Ackerline, and I'll give you his contact information. We have it.
On the internet and put it on social media.
He's a retired police officer, and so because of everything that's happened, he's kind of coordinating this. He's doing it kind of how we do it. I got an operational plan of where they're going to be. He's in contact with me when they're going to change locations. So it is a lot more coordinated than just some guy in a Honda Civic with no markings, and then you guys not knowing what's going on. These guys are going to have ID badges. I explained to them your guys' concerns. Safety vests, they're going to be one guy's doing this, obviously you need someone with him so he doesn't fall off a cliff or something.
Well, this is good to hear too, because I had personally experienced probably about 2 months ago where they came out in a truck, unmarked, flying a drone, and I don't know that the drone had anything to fear, but they might have because they were crawling over fences and stuff. So I'm glad to hear that there'll be a point of contact.
Yeah, there's a point of contact, and they're going to be, and his security team that's with the drone operators are all retired law enforcement.
That sounds much better.
So it's going to squash a lot more of the, hey dude, you can't do that, let's go over here. They're not engaging or anything. Their whole thing is to make sure the operators don't get shot at, in the past. So.
Well, I will say this, we did receive an email from somebody down in Soledad who said that Edison drones, he went and found the guy, and the guy said I can do whatever I want on Edison. He was flying over the guy's house, literally into his patio, so he was not near any power. So I'm not going to stand here and say I believe everybody who operates a drone is above board and not casing people's homes while they're looking at the drones. I'm sorry. We've got an email, it's been on social media, that these guys are not always above board. So
if an incident like that happens, try to take video footage of it, contact me, and we'll deal with it accordingly depending on the situation.
Okay.
Do not take do not take it into your own hands.
I agree.
Okay.
I know it's not always a good thing.
Jackie, you're not gonna get that bear badge for skeet shooting, okay?
Cool.
So they've been using drones in my area for about a week ago. They had drones, and I'll say they fly pretty high. They were up several hundred feet above the wires, and they are far less disturbing than helicopters. It is like, boy, do I have a nest of bees here? And then it just goes away. So it's a major improvement over the helicopters.
I'm very grateful.
They were hunting helicopters over our place, and I think they're just shaking everything to death.
Well, the good part about this too is having the coordination. I appreciate that they're taking that step to triangulate. It's not just, like I said, having been on the other side of the room where I got calm on my fence, I'm like, what are you doing? Stuff, please email Tech Council. We'll probably do another one of these soonish. I don't know. We'll kind of figure out a date.
Can we move it up an hour?
Yes, we'll continue. We'll move it up at least an hour because probably.
Can't you get the lights? Can't you get turn the
lights
lights on?
We don't have. Yeah, I don't know what.
The park is officially closed.
Yeah, we're breaking the law.
What if we all bring our own lanterns?
We can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One more thing. Yeah, we can do it. So we may do this on a weekend morning, so that way we can accommodate like Saturday morning.
That's okay.
One more thing before everybody goes, real quick. Go ahead.
Hi. Sorry to hold you all up from going home. My name is Jackie Owens. I've gotten to meet some of you tonight and introduce myself. I'm with Congressman Mike Garcia's office. And I always enjoy enjoy coming out here in this beautiful park. And I'm glad personally you're not bringing torches. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I'm here. I've got my business cards. If you have any questions with a federal agency, if you've not gotten your stimulus check or immigration or Social Security, I'm glad to be your point of contact. I'm located in the Palmdale office, and I'll stay around while you're heading home and give you my my business card. Be safe, everybody.
Thank you. All right.
Is there
Yes.
any more new business?
What was that? No.
Ron wants to talk.
New business.
So the Acton Town Council meeting has officially ended. It started to get dark, so they decided to begin the next meeting an hour earlier next time because of the time change. And this wraps up the protest meeting. So I'm still here at Acton Park, and the Acton Town Council protest meeting is over with, but I wanted to walk over here to this ballot box. This is a ballot box for the November election, and it's just sitting by itself at Acton Park near the restrooms, unprotected at night. Anyone can come in and tamper with it. There's a big sign on it that says tampering with this ballot box is a felony. But it just seems like an odd place to have a place where you can just put in your ballot. So I found that a little interesting there. Okay, and that's a wrap.